Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the SpartanCast. We have our final preseason edition before games get underway in the NYCBL. Christian Guzman here, along with you. Joining me is Donny Chiarel. Donny, it's just good to have baseball back, isn't it?
It really is. You factor in last summer not having anything at all, and then when MLB started back up, of course, in the fall with COVID, but then the regular spring opening day, you really felt like it was back in the air, and now having it back in the NYCBL, it's exciting, and I can't wait for opening day.
I can tell you, we've been watching the Spartans scrimmage practice the past couple of games, and even though there's nothing on the line as of yet right now, it just feels so good to just sit down at a stadium and watch a baseball game. It's a liberating feeling.
It is. It really is, and especially when you're sitting there and you don't have to really worry about, other things given, in terms of other circumstances where you're trying to think about, okay, are we going to have a season or not, with all these college kids that probably had to go through that limbo, with sports shut down pretty much in the fall across the nation, at least for smaller schools, which a lot of these guys are from, like we'll get into. But having this guarantee of a season, having 42 games stretched out over 2 months, what more can you ask for?
And some of these guys didn't even have seasons last year. The Pomona Pitzer guys on our team didn't play a season last year. So these guys have been itching for 22 months to get into a game. And it is good to see them play baseball. And we hope that you all come down and watch us and watch the Spartans play some baseball at Onondaga Community College's baseball complex. And I can tell you, watching Donnie's reaction when he first stepped into the grounds, watching the players' reactions when they first stepped into the ground of OCC. If you haven't been, or if you've been multiple times, it still never gets old just how nice the facility is.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, when you drove me up, you were pretty much saying, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. We pull in, take that right turn, you see Onondaga over the fence, you see it on the back of the press box, just the view, all turf field, besides the mound, of course, being dirt. It's amazing. So, when you get to watch our broadcast, like we hope that you all do, it's a little bit different when you're there and you're taking it all in beautiful Syracuse, New York, and Onondaga Community College, like you mentioned. So, yeah, the facilities are amazing, and the baseball is just going to be great because of that. The setting is pristine.
We might as well get into this now while we're talking about it. You can watch Spartans live if you have Amazon Fire or Roku. You can search up the NYCBL digital network in the store for those respective services and then watch them straight on your TV. Or if you're watching online and streaming, you can go to SyracuseSpartans.com/watch live. Again, that's SyracuseSpartans.com/watch live in order to stream all of our home games. If you're listening to our road games, we'll be doing online radio for those, and that can be listened to online via mixlr.com/Syracuse Spartans. It's going to be good to call baseball games again. I'm sure all of you are excited to watch baseball games, to watch the Spartans play, whether you are a family member of a current Spartan, just have watched the Spartans before. You've got some great talent that has come up to Central New York, and it's so good, like Donnie said, to see some baseball back, including to see some returning Spartans back. We've got 3 returning Spartans from the 2019 team who have signed back on to join the Spartans for another season in the NYCBL, and they're 3 of the best.
They really are. You factor in just playing in a summer league and having that continuity. You see a lot of these guys in their bios with different teams in different regions of the country and what have you. But to have guys come back to the Spartans, it really shows that community feel, and they're back for more. They're back for a championship and a chance to just get better this season.
Let's go through them, the guys who are back with the Spartans. We start with a guy who actually set the Syracuse Spartan single-season record for at-bats this season, and that's Jackson Geisler, who really got his money's worth back in 2019 playing with the Spartans.
Jackson Geisler's fantastic, and the short sample size that I've gotten to see of him, he looks like a very fundamentally sound player, knows what he's doing, he's got experience, and like you said, he's a returning Spartan. It makes it that much better.
And then one of the other returning Spartans, one of the more improved Spartans that I think the coaches saw as the season went on last year was Anthony May from Baldwinsville, one of the local kids from the Syracuse area, which we'll get to in a bit. But Anthony May going to be a real key factor in this Syracuse team.
He is, and you factor in a lineup that can really be interchangeable at the top. We saw in our scrimmage today what the lineup looked like. We'll get to that later. But Anthony May, as well as his brother Patrick May, 2 sets of brothers. Christian, have you had that before on a team?
I don't think. I mean, it's rare enough to have brothers on a team to have 2 sets of siblings on a team is pretty rare, and we'll get to those guys in just a second. But the third returning Spartan is Zach Legoretta, who we haven't seen too much of yet this spring, but his versatility is so important for the Spartan squad.
And you mentioned not seeing a lot of Zach Legoretta, which I haven't either, but you look at his stats from 2019 in the NYCBL with the Spartans, 34 games, 250 average with 10 RBIs, productive, I'm sure at times, and like you mentioned, a player that's improved, a player that's probably looking to improve, and can't wait to see what he does as well. That third returning Spartan makes it kind of like that trio. Trio's back in town.
And it's so important as well, not just have these returning Spartans, but to have the local flavor of Syracuse back. We've got so many local players from this on the Syracuse roster. Some of them have just graduated high school, with 8 guys in total on the Syracuse roster from the Syracuse area. We'll run through them right now. Nick Jensen hasn't actually gotten to Syracuse yet because he is actually still playing his high school season with West Genesee High School, but he's going to UAlbany in the fall, and he's one of the freshmen that are on this roster, who, as he said, the brothers May, Anthony, and Pat, both the Baldwinsville natives and the C.W. Baker Bees. And then you have Derek Jan, Joseph Gata, who are Manlius natives. Jan went to CBA, and Gata went to Fayetteville Manlius. You have Ben Beretta, who graduated from Marcellus, and then another young guy, Matthew Alexander, who graduated from Janesville DeWitt this year and is going to Bucknell. There's a good amount of local flavor here, and it's important to have that local flair to a team in the NYCBL.
Without a doubt, and you factor in people that are in the area that just want to see summer baseball. They go to games, and if they hear that, or if they know there are guys from their area, guys that they may have seen in high school and travel ball, but now they're playing with the Syracuse Spartans, it makes it that much sweeter. But I want to zero in, though, on the players that you mentioned that are going straight into college, and like you said with Nick Jessen as an example, he's literally finishing his high school season, and then boom, he's playing against college-level talent, which is only going to help him as his career goes on. So I'm sure that as his career does progress, he's going to look back and say, you know what, playing in the NYCBL before I get to college, especially UAlbany, it's going to make it that much better for him in his progression.
Same with Matt Alexander, who played in our scrimmage today.
Exactly.
And he actually had a pretty decent hit over the center fielder's head. And he's, again, just got off the Janesville DeWitt High School team, and now it's facing up against college pitching for the first time in his career before going off to Bucknell in the fall. That's valuable experience for him, as with the other freshmen on our team in Noah Milliken. He and his brother, Caleb, coming from California, the other set of brothers that is on this team, but Noah Milliken, the high school graduate of Berkeley in California, who will go to UPenn in the fall, he's going to get some great experience as well.
He really is, and, again, it's one thing to see college pitching, but it's equally as important to see college players hitting. I mean, you factor in, you could go to a high school and you're that top dog, you're the big fish in a little pond. When you go to a school like UPenn, like you mentioned, there's no little pond anymore. You're D1, you're big time, you're Ivy League. So seeing these guys now is just going to familiarize them with it. And that's a common theme, but that's what summer ball is about. It's about getting better, it's about having fun, but ultimately just using that as a building block for next year.
And again, full disclosure for everyone, we are recording this on Sunday, June 6th, which was just right after the Syracuse Spartans and the Syracuse Sulcats scrimmage. We saw a lot of good things, but we do want to mention that it's a little interesting because the Spartans are a little bit short-handed, and the reason why I say short-handed is because the Spartans actually don't have their head coach yet right now. Our head coach, Matt Michalski, is, for those who don't know, is an assistant coach with SUNY Cortland, and Cortland are in the Division III World Series. We don't know what the result of their game is as of right now, as they do have one loss in the Division World Series, so another loss will send Cortland home. But Matt Michalski is out in Iowa with the Cortland Red Dragons, coaching them hopefully to a Division III World Series. So he's not with the Spartans right now, but we wish him all the best out in Iowa.
Oh, without a doubt. And you factor in, what's the best time to be in Iowa, right, for the College World Series?
Yeah.
I can't think of another time. So having him back, I'm sure, will help. But shout out to our interim head coach, JJ Patrikis, our president of ops. But he's literally doing everything he can. He's got 4 arms out there, and he's going to be a dad again next Thursday. So congratulations to him and his family. But yeah, it's crazy times, and this week's going to be very telling, and to just, for everyone to get their feet wet, build that chemistry. These guys have, there are some college teammates, there are some guys that are from opposite ends of the country. They're going to get there, and it's going to be a really fun opening day and opening week.
And congratulations to JJ for welcoming his second daughter in the upcoming days. Of course, he's already dealing with having to deal with 28 sons on the baseball field already. So maybe dropping down to 2 daughters might be a little bit less of a headache for him, if you know what I'm saying.
He's an advanced dad right now, no doubt.
Indeed. But we've seen a lot of good baseball out there already, even in a limited sample size, like you said. And just for me and you, we both pointed this out when we were up in the booth, when we were watching them take BPs and watching them take their IOs. I really, really like how the outfielders on this team look.
You took the words out of my mouth, Christian. And today, again, like we mentioned, we're recording this after our scrimmage. The leadoff men, the 1, 2, and 3, Grant Shepard, Jordan Dixon, and Jackson Geisler. They are must-see baseball, and they're guys that bring a lot of experience, guys that play at high levels in their divisions, respectively. And like you mentioned, Jackson Geisler, he knows the way of the Syracuse Spartans now in this 3rd season. You factor in Grant Shepard, the experience he's gotten at Arkansas Monticello, and Jordan Dixon at Marymount University in Arlington, Virginia. Very credible D3 school. That top half of the lineup is going to be very deadly, and when you go on down the list, it just only gets better. But having those 3 guys right there, like you said, left, center, and right field, it's dangerous. Very dangerous.
And you mentioned those 3 guys. They're just coming from all over the country as well. So, I know we just talked a little bit about the Syracuse guys who are from Syracuse and who are holding down the local fort of Central New York and the Salt City. But you, Donnie, being from South Carolina, coming from the Wingate in North Carolina, there's still a lot of people as well who are coming from not only your neck of the woods, but just from all around the country as well to play some good baseball.
You're right, and that's, like we said, that's what they want to do. It's just good baseball. It's good competition, good way to get better. Factor in 2 years ago when I was in the Valley League with the Percival Cannons, we had, I think, at least 4 or 5 guys in the Valley League from Wingate alone. Also had a guy that was a pitcher by the name of Tommy McCollum playing the Cape League. So, like you said, no matter if you're from North Carolina, if you're from Maine, Alaska, wherever, California, Washington, you name it, you look for good baseball. You look for that good assignment from your head coach. And a lot of these guys even mentioned, I asked Eddie Rosemont and Finn Doherty yesterday during BP, how did you guys find Syracuse? And they said, this is where our coach sent us. And it is really cool. It's almost kind of like just a developmental league in a way, and gets them ready for next year just to let them know that they're staying fresh. So it's exciting, and I can't say that enough. And once these guys get on the field for a real game tomorrow, you're going to feel the real just high energy in the air.
And some of these guys are coming back to the NYCBL for a second season, not just the returning Spartans.
Right.
But you also have some returning guys who are coming from other teams in the NYCBL. Zach Kemp is a former Syracuse Saltcat and also a former Onondaga Flame, for those who remember the Onondaga Flames' brief stint in the NYCBL back in 2018. While the Spartans were a part of the NYCBL. And Derek Shea was with Genesee and the Genesee Rapids back in 2018 as well. So those 2 guys looking for some new ground in the NYCBL. What better place to do it than with the Spartans?
Oh, yeah, it's exciting, and especially for guys that have either played with the Saltcats or just in the area, and like you said, in the league, to just try something different. Have a new home base, see what it's like the coaching staff, and just let it roll.
I mean, speaking of the coaching staff, JJ is always adamant that the Spartans have the best coaching staff in the league. And after being with them for the first couple of days, it's hard to argue against him.
It really is. For me, when it comes down to coaching, you try and just think about 2 words, energy and relatability. And with Rigo Rodriguez and Noobs, as well as the hitting coach, Kevin Newby, they're both fantastic men. They were joking around when we were in Camillus yesterday that Coach Noobs played on this little, youth field 60 years ago, and he was talking about his old career and telling the kids, that you want to be at this point, you have to start from here, and it's really cool. And like I mentioned, the relatability. I even heard Eddie Rosemont today during pictures and headshots. He said to Coach Rigo, he said, Coach, we looked you up yesterday. We saw your rookie card. He's like, so you had to look me up. You didn't believe me, just trying to have that good rapport. And I can't wait to see Coach Matt Mahalski come in as well. I'm sure he's just going to tie the bow on the present, but yeah, like you mentioned, it's hard to argue against this coaching staff being just the most fun and honestly just the best overall. I know we're biased.
Only a little. Only a little biased.
Just a tad.
I mean, we will do our best to provide some non-biased commentary for you throughout the year, but I know all of you watching are going to want to hear your sons doing well and hear us talk about their accomplishments, not just on the field, but also off the field. And I'm glad you brought up Camillus, because Spartans had a great opportunity yesterday to kind of engage with the community, which is something the Spartans always want to do, to give back to the community, make the community a better place, which is why I love having not only the local kids here, but having the guys out of state as well.
Exactly.
Excuse me, guys, but it's an excellent opportunity for these guys to build reports with the community.
It is.
And We had an excellent time with the Camillus Little League, helping them out in their home run derby, and it seemed like the Spartans had a great time there with them.
Yeah, they really did, and I was out there in the outfield just grabbing pictures, and you could just feel that they weren't the guys that were dragging their heads thinking, oh, why are we here? Why do we have to do this? They were excited. They were smiling. They were talking with the kids. And I go back to the intro video that one of our Spartans, Joe Gata, sent in, and he mentioned how honored he is to play for the Spartans, being that he's a local guy, but he also highlighted the fact that he knows that they're very heavy on being involved with the community. And I know for a fact that if I were one of those kids yesterday, 10, 11, 12 years old, looking at a bunch of 20-year-old guys, I would have thought, I want to be like them one day. And that's what it comes down to. As corny or cheesy as it is, whatever word you want, that's the reality. Kids want to have someone to look up to. And if it's someone in their community at this point where, they're coming from all over the United States, makes it that much cooler. So hopefully we can continue to go to cool events like that so the guys can connect with the youth and just make their summers even better as well.
Now, one of those cool events, if you haven't already seen on our social media pages, first of all, if you're not on our social media pages, follow our social media pages, for God's sakes. I'll tell you where to go for those in just a second. But if you saw our social media pages, Syracuse Spartans are hosting a golf tournament out. If you are in the Syracuse area out in Marcellus, the Sunset Ridge Golf Club will hold that on July 19th in just over a month. And you can come down and pay your way in to play a couple of holes. And I know Donnie's going to do that because he brought his clubs with him.
My clubs are in my trunk. Christian, I have to ask you, how is your swing right now?
It is awful.
It is awful.
It is
short game, drive, putt, everything's not great?
I claim my short game is good because back when I was in 6th grade, I was able to chip in a shot from a bunker onto the green and in the hole all in one shot. So that's the highlight of my golfing career. And yes, that was in 6th grade. So a good 20 years ago. But I would like to say my short game might be my better area of my golf game, even though I haven't picked up a club in about 20 years.
Well, hey, like you said, July 19th is the day to do it. I'm a guy that will just sit there at the tee and just hit balls, whether it's left, right, or if I get some straight, thank the Lord. But like Christian said, it's going to be a fun event, so make sure you come out.
Yeah, head on to our social media pages to sign up on the Eventbrite right now if you haven't. And if you haven't gone to our social media pages, like we said, what are you doing? Follow us on Twitter at NYCBL_Spartans. On Instagram, we are Syracuse Spartans. It is just at Syracuse Spartans. And on Facebook, you can search up Syracuse Spartans and give the page a like as well. We also want to mention, again, we love the community as well. We want to give a big thank you to the Blink Fitness for sponsoring opening week, all the opening week games. The Blink Fitness is the sponsor for all opening week games for the Syracuse Spartans, and we want to give them a huge thank you and a huge shout out as well. And you might be wondering, well, what are those opening week games? We start on June 7th with the Syracuse Cats, and then an away game against Cortland, but back at home for 3 more games against Cortland, against Sherrill, and against Cortland one more time, June 9th, 10th, and 11th. 4 games out of 5 to start at home. Can't ask for a better start to the season.
You took the words out of my mouth, Christian. You think about just getting your feet wet. You think about just getting those jitters out, and I'm sure a lot of the guys got most of them out today in that scrimmage, and they're going to get to see the Saltcats tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. But 5 games in 5 days. I mean, like you said, you can't ask for anything more. You can't ask for anything better. 4 of those, of course, at home. And then once those guys hit the road as well, it's going to be just as fun, but playing in front of your home fans and at that home turf, literally home turf, it's going to be so fun. And let's cross our fingers and knock on wood that the weather holds up and that we have no rain or at least no cancellations or delays. But barring anything unforeseen, it's going to be a very fun week of baseball.
Remember, fans, if you are coming to the game, you can always come to the game. We'll take cashless PayPal and Venmo accounts so that you can stay contactless. It's still in these evolving times here in Central New York. If you are a 12-year-old or younger, you get into the games for free.
Absolutely,
so don't even worry about bringing your phones. Don't bring your phones if you're 12-year-old. Enjoy a baseball game. Come on, guys. But if you are over 12, it is $5 at the gate, and it's only PayPal or Venmo. Will take those cashless payments out of your hands so that you can stay contactless. And also, we have limited season tickets available, guys. Limited season tickets available. It's $50 for the entire season. You'll get guaranteed access to the ballpark. You'll get a nice little wristband as well. that you can show off to your friends and family saying, hey, I'm a season ticket holder for the Syracuse Spartans. Come on down. And when you come on down, you also get some guaranteed socially distanced seating as well in the ballpark. Limited quality available. Make sure you email SyracuseSpartans@gmail.com. Again, that's SyracuseSpartans@gmail.com if you're interested in buying some season tickets. And finally, let's give you a quick reminder again of everyone on how you can watch the Spartans as well. Again, if you're on your TV and you have Amazon Fire or Roku, that's great because you can search up the NYCBL digital network on the respective app stores there and download it onto your TV so that you can watch Syracuse Spartans games on your TV. Or if you're streaming them on your computer, you can go to the all-new Syracuse Spartans website and go to SyracuseSpartans.com/watch-live. Again, that's SyracuseSpartans.com/watch-live to watch all of our home games. And on the road games, you can listen on our radio via mixlr.com/Syracuse Spartans. Donnie, it's going to be a good season.
It's going to be great, and we covered everything. There's not much to add on, honestly. We talked about players. We talked about the fact that we're getting baseball again this summer. We talked about everything at the ballpark, this, that, and the third. At the end of the day, Christian, 9 innings, 3+ hours, 42 times this summer. Man, I think we're just ready to just go out and play now. Honestly, I mean, I'm psyched. I can't wait to see these guys out.
I'm going to strike out 3 times, but if you're willing to dig into the turf there and be my guest.
In all seriousness, no, I really do believe that this is just a blessing first and foremost to have everyone here, and God willing, everyone continues to stay safe and COVID free, and we continue to just have a really fun summer. And I will say, being that you mentioned, of course, I'm from the South, lived in the South 15, 16 years of my life. The heat here, I'll admit, I was a little skeptical when people said, it's not, it's hot, it's very hot. I'm like, well, I grew up in the South, but I'll admit it, the heat's gotten to me the last few days. Maybe I'm just adjusting. Had some nice weather the last few weeks where I was, but the heat's up there, I will say, and it's going to get even hotter as the year goes on, but in that case, hotter the better. More sun, more baseball. Let's do it.
Don't worry, we're going to bring our sunscreen, and if you have any extra sunscreen, we're going to make sure we give it to Eddie Rosemont because he needs it.
Also, if you have any extra water you want to donate to me and Christian when we're in the booth, that'd be great. Keep us hydrated, keep our voices sounding nice, and we're going to be sweating as well, probably 24/7, so we're going to lose a lot of electrolytes and everything, so anything you want to provide us with, we're more than happy to take that on.
Well, it's going to be a good season, Donnie, and we're going to have a lot of fun calling the games.
Definitely.
And we're seeing some of the best baseball players in all of collegiate baseball here in Central New York, and it's such a pleasure to call these games for them. Donnie, any last words?
No, man, I'm just ready to go. Ready for opening day. Hope the guys, are dreaming of home runs and RBIs and strikeouts tonight as they sleep and wake up tomorrow. And it's game day, man. Can't wait.
Can't wait as well. Again, everyone, make sure you download the NYCBL digital network if you're on Amazon Fire or Roku. Tune into the live stream. 7:05 first pitch on Monday, June 7th. 7:05 first pitch for all the home games this week. Tune in, guys.
Can't wait. Go Spartans.
Go Spartans.